We have all heard the phrase, silence is powerful. And it's true. Silence can command respect, create mystery, and leave people wondering what's on your mind. It has been an ancient tool of influence, used by philosophers, strategists, and leaders for centuries. But let me ask you this. Is silence always enough? Does staying quiet automatically give you the advantage? Or is there a sharper, more lethal, deeper strategy? One that goes beyond silence and enters the realm of influence impossible to ignore? Welcome to Stoic Alchemist, where we blend timeless wisdom of Stoicism with the cutting edge of modern psychology, helping you master your mind, your energy, and your presence. Today, we're diving into a bold idea, a strategy that does not replace silence. It transcends it. Yes, silence has its place. It is a weapon, no doubt. But, brother, silence also has limits. What you are about to discover is not just another tactic. It's a game changer. A way of being that not only leaves an impression, but makes you unforgettable. Imagine this. A way to use your presence so precise, so intentional, that it not only shifts the balance of power in your favor, but forever changes how others think of you, even when you're not there. This is not about loud words or desperate actions. It's about subtlety, precision, and absolute control. It's about moving with purpose and leaving a mark so deep that others cannot help but feel your influence. And when you combine this strategy with the timeless principles of Stoicism and the sharp philosophies of dark psychology, you are entering a league few reach. The Stoics were masters of presence. They knew true power does not come from speaking more, but from being more intentional. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That phrase captures the essence of what we'll see today. This is not just the absence of noise. It is the deliberate presence of power, a presence that does not fade when you leave, but grows in your absence. And that, my friend, is what we're going to master together. Before revealing the superior strategy, we need to understand why silence works, why it has been for centuries a foundation of true influence. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, "Silence is safer than speech," and he was right. Silence protects your energy, prevents you from saying things you might regret later, and most importantly, creates an aura of mystery. Silence makes people wonder, what is he thinking? And that uncertainty is often more powerful than any word. We live in a world where everyone wants to talk, opine, shout, where every second someone says something without thinking. And in the middle of that noise, the one who remains silent stands out. When you stay quiet, you create a void, a space that others feel compelled to fill with their assumptions, their insecurities, their mental projections. And there lies the magic. Silence not only protects you, it turns you into a mirror where others project their fears, desires, doubts. Give you more power than you actually showed, more presence than you claimed, because what is left unsaid sometimes weighs more than what is shouted. Think of it this way. The world is saturated with noise, empty opinions, purposeless conversations. Suddenly, you appear, silent, with a steady gaze, with a firm body. No need to explain anything. That breaks the pattern. And everyone facing you feels it. Imagine this scene. Someone argues with you, attacks you, provokes you, seeks an emotional reaction. Most would respond immediately. defend themselves, justify, explain, but you don't. You remain silent. You look them in the eyes, calm, firm, and let their words fade into the air. What happens? The other person starts to feel uncomfortable. They realize they lost control of the situation. And you held it all along that is real power. But be careful. Silence is not infallible. It works because it is rare. Because it is unexpected. When it becomes predictable it loses its edge. A man who always stays silent stops being mysterious and becomes passive. And that is not presence. Silence is strong, yes, but by itself, it's not always enough. There are moments where silence leaves too much to interpretation, where your absence no longer impacts, where the mystery fades and people stop wondering about you. That is why silence needs to be integrated into a greater strategy. One that combines its strength with intentional action, presence with emotional weight, and the smart use of contrast. And that is the strategy we will develop. If silence is the art of saying nothing, then presence is the art of saying everything without a single word. Presence is your ability to command attention, to shape perceptions, and to leave a mark on others' minds just by being there. And here's an uncomfortable truth. Silence creates mystery, but presence creates power. It makes you memorable, impactful, and most importantly, impossible to ignore. The Stoics understood this difference well. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And that is no cheap poetry. It is a warning. Your external presence reflects what is happening inside you. How you stand, how you breathe, how you hold your gaze. All of that speaks louder than your words. When your thoughts are firm, disciplined, and focused, it shows in your posture, in your tone, in your energy. Presence generates an invisible weight in the environment, a kind of psychological gravity that pushes others to revolve around you. Think of it this way. Someone enters a room, says nothing, but their energy fills the space. Everyone notices, everyone feels it, not because they shout, but because they are. That is presence. And when cultivated from silence, it is not passive. It is active. While silence creates a void others try to fill, presence generates a magnetic field that attracts them. It's not about being loud, nor about seeking attention. It is about standing firm, looking with intention, and walking with purpose. Your body language, your rhythm, your breathing, all send a clear message. I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it. And that is the kind of energy that changes dynamics. That is the kind of energy that commands respect. And here dark psychology comes into play. I tell you straight, humans react more to what is unsaid than to words. Your posture, your face, your breathing, all of that is recorded in others' unconscious. If you look calm, they assume you have control. If you walk confidently, they assume you have a plan. If your energy is intentional, they take you seriously, even if they don't understand why. And if you combine that presence with strategic silence, the effect multiplies. But there is something even deeper. Presence is not only what others see, it is what you feel. When you cultivate presence, you are training your ability to be present, to be anchored in yourself, no matter what happens. Stoics believed true strength is born from internal mastery. Epictetus said, It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. When you master your mind, you stop projecting anxiety, and your presence becomes firm, stable, immune to chaos. Let's imagine again. You enter a room, and there is that person you admire. They say nothing, but their energy fills the place. You want to understand them. You want to approach. You want to know what makes them so magnetic. Is presence. And yes, you can cultivate it too. The key is one, master yourself. Here is the summary. Silence makes people wonder about you, but presence makes them remember you. When you combine both, you create a force impossible to ignore. And the best part, presence needs no permission. It asks for no validation. It simply is. Your presence is a silent declaration of personal mastery. It is your way of saying, I am no longer reacting to the world. I am controlling how I move through it. So I ask you, are you truly present in the places you inhabit? Or are you just occupying space? If you are ready to develop a presence that not only can be seen, but can be felt. Take action now. Comment below. I master my presence. Because your presence is not just what others perceive. It is what you transmit from within. The Stoics knew this. Words have limits. Silence has weight. Presence has power. But there is something that ties it all together. Something that transforms intention into reality. Something that needs no explanation. Action. Marcus Aurelius wrote plainly, you must become an old man now. If you want to be an old man someday, the message? Your future, your legacy, your influence are built today with what you do, not what you think or say. Action is the bridge between your silence and your impact. It is the purest way to show who you are. And when deliberate, it becomes a statement the world cannot ignore. You don't need to shout to make your point clear. No need to convince anyone of anything. The Stoics wasted no time on useless arguments. Nor did they beg for attention. You know what they did? They acted. Silent actions, firm decisions, measured moves, small actions, but loaded with intention, because they understood that every gesture builds character. And what you do speaks so loudly, it silences what you say. And now we see it clearly. Thanks to modern psychology, people respond more to what they see than to what they hear. When others see you act calmly, confidently, even without saying a word, they respect you. They might not admit it, but they feel it, because genuine movement, without seeking approval, creates a perception of authority that is undisputed. It's simple. The world listens to those who move with purpose, not to those who explain, not to those who plead, not to those who react. And it's not just about what others see. It's about you. Every action you take is a message to yourself. When you keep your word, when you face fear, when you do the right thing without witnesses. You are building confidence in your own power. And that confidence is the foundation of your presence. You can't think your way to strength. You have to act it. Here is where everything comes together. Silence creates mystery. Presence commands respect. But action solidifies impact. When someone who keeps silence presents themselves with intention and then acts with precision, they are no longer just someone interesting. They are someone unforgettable. Every small movement, every calculated gesture, every meaningful choice speaks about you. And the question is simple. Do your actions reflect order and strength? Or do they reflect chaos and reaction? The Stoics said, "Every choice is a mirror of who you are." So next time someone asks who you are, don't say it. Show it. Perception is everything. It's not just who you are, but how others see you, and even more, how they see you when you're not around. That is real influence. And the Stoics understood this long before modern psychology existed. Epictetus said it clearly. First decide who you want to be. Then do what is necessary to become him. That is the basis of perception control. Align your outer image with your inner essence. Want to know something brutal? Most people decide what they think of you before you say a single word. Your posture, your gaze, how you enter a room, how you remain silent. All of that speaks, and it speaks directly to the subconscious. If you appear calm, we assume you have control. If your movements are firm, we assume you know what you're doing. And if your presence is intentional, we feel we must take you seriously. This is dark psychology. Not to manipulate, but to understand the invisible rules that govern human interactions. But there is something even more powerful than perception. Intrigue. When your actions are clear, but unexplained. When your presence is felt, but not begged for. People wonder about you. What is he after? Why did he show up just now? What does he know that I don't? That curiosity cannot be forced. It is provoked with subtlety, and it is fed with intentional mystery. And if you doubt it, this is not about pretending. It is not about inventing an image. It is about projecting with precision who you already are or who you are becoming. When your silence, your presence, and your action are aligned with your values, the perception you generate is not false. It is strong, and that reputation is power. One that is not asked for, one that is earned. So where do you start? With the simplest thing, awareness. Start observing yourself. How are you walking? Does your posture convey clarity or confusion? Does your expression convey calm or anxiety? Every gesture communicates. Every omission too. And if you don't control the message, others will interpret it for you. And you might not like the result. So I leave you this. What impression do you leave when you leave a room? If the answer doesn't satisfy you, don't punish yourself. Adjust, because perception is not fixed. It can be shaped. It can be worked on. It can be earned. And if you are ready to take control of that narrative, you are ready to master your presence. Controlled visibility is not being everywhere nor disappearing completely. It is knowing when and how to show up. It is choosing the right moment to leave a deep impression. Epictetus left us a vital teaching. Know first who you are, and then dress accordingly. That means knowing your value and showing it strategically. Not flooding with noise, but standing out with quality. Instead of sending meaningless messages, wait for your word to matter. Instead of being in every meeting, choose the ones that really count. That way, your presence becomes rare and valuable, and people begin to seek you, miss you, respect you. Human psychology is wired to desire scarcity. When you are always available, you lose value. When you control your visibility, you create intrigue and respect. People wonder, why does he show up just now? What is he after? What is his next move? And that curiosity makes you unforgettable. But controlled visibility is not just strategic absence. When you decide to appear, you do it with purpose. Your body language is strong, your words precise, your actions aligned. And when you leave a void others feel. This approach requires discipline, patience, and confidence. It is knowing when to advance and when to step back. The Stoics believed true power comes from self-discipline. Imagine you have been absent from a social group or relationship for some time. Instead of reappearing without meaning, you choose a crucial moment, an important conversation, a relevant event, a moment where your voice adds value. You speak clearly, act calmly, and when you leave a mark. It's a way of life, way to walk through the world with clarity and purpose. Are you ready to master this way of living? Like this video and comment. I choose when to be seen, because this is not just a tactic. It is the path to your true power. Controlled visibility is not just a concept. It is a daily practice that transforms your impact. Here are the key steps to make it real. Step 1. Know your essence. Before controlling how others see you, understand who you are and what you represent. Ask yourself, what do I want others to perceive about me? What values do I want my actions to reflect? Remember Marcus Aurelius, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your actions and presence will only be powerful if aligned with your inner self. Step 2. Choose your moments. You don't need to be everywhere or always say something. Select situations where your presence truly matters. In relationships, it could be during deep conversations. At work, when your input drives a project. Quality, not quantity. Step 3. Act with intention. When you decide to show up, do it with your whole being. Your body language, voice, energy must communicate confidence and purpose. Even your greeting or the way you listen can leave a powerful mark. Step 4. Practice strategic absence. Be absent with purpose. Let your absence be noticed. If you are always available, you lose value. By creating space, you make others value your presence more. Step 5. Be unpredictable. Don't let others anticipate your moves. Uncertainty generates intrigue. Some days you'll be quiet and absent. Other days you'll appear with a decisive action that keeps attention. Step 6. Build long-term reputation. Controlled visibility is not an instant trick. It is a habit cultivated with discipline and time. Consistency creates respect and authentic power. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about them." The way we perceive something changes, depending on what we contrast it with. When you alternate between being absent and then appearing with intention, your presence becomes a message that cannot be ignored. Think of someone who is always present, available, and talking. Over time, they lose impact and become ordinary. Now imagine someone who is calm and quiet most of the time, but suddenly appears with a decisive action or comment. That person stands out and commands attention. Our brain is wired to notice changes. We detect patterns and focus on deviations. By using contrast, alternating silence with action, presence with absence, you create a psychological pull that keeps others intrigued. They ask themselves, why is he silent now? What will he do next? That intrigue keeps you alive in their thoughts, even when you're not around. Contrast also generates emotion. Absence makes presence more valuable. Decisive action gives new meaning to prior silence. That's why controlled visibility works so well. It uses this principle to amplify every move. Be intentional with your pauses and appearances. Don't disappear or reappear without purpose. Create a pattern that is recognizable but unpredictable. Make your returns after absence impactful and meaningful. Are you creating contrasts in how you show up? Are you letting your absence grow your presence? If you want to master the art of contrast to multiply your impact, like this video and comment. My impact is undeniable. Because when you combine presence, purpose, and contrast, you don't just exist. You dominate. The strategies we've covered: controlled visibility, deliberate action, and the principle of contrast are powerful. But their true power comes from mastering yourself. The Stoics taught that the root of power is not controlling others, but controlling your mind and your reactions. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. True mastery begins in your mindset. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." When you train your mind to stay calm, you project an energy no one can ignore. Then comes discipline, the daily force that leads you to keep your commitments to yourself. The confidence you build in yourself reflects in your presence and in the way you act. Mastery is also consistency. Your actions, your silence, your presence must be aligned with your deepest values. This creates authenticity, something rare and magnetic. Be like Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Mastery is not having more. It's being enough. When you master yourself, you don't need to make noise to validate your worth. Your energy speaks for you. Silence is intentional. Action is deliberate. Absence is felt. This naturally multiplies your influence. Real power is not controlling others. It's controlling your mind and your actions. It's owning your energy and using it wisely. This is the true legacy you can leave. A presence that inspires, an absence that makes others reflect, and actions that leave a mark. Now I want to ask you, are you in control of your mind, your actions, and your energy? Or do you let the world control you? If you're ready to take control of your life and empower yourself through mastery, like this video and comment. I am the master of my life. Remember, true strength lies within you. The path is not easy. It requires patience, discipline, and commitment. But the reward is a power no one can take away from you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, your silence, your presence, and your actions are your testament of strength and purpose. Keep growing, mastering yourself, and blessing the world with your power. See you in the next video.